We're going to try now to check back in on that breaking news from the peninsula where a person barricaded themselves in a home after a shooting in Newport News. Now, officers were called to Turlington Road just after 10 last night, and police are still on the scene now, and that's where we find 10 on your side's Andy Fox. Andy, we're hearing that person is now in custody.
The person is in custody, and we can confirm he was sitting up on a gurney being put into an ambulance. You can see the officer right over there with the open door. That is where they eventually pulled the suspect out of the apartment complex. This situation lasted at least 12 hours from last night. You can see the officer there. That was the concentration. That's where all the SWAT was. That is where the police officers were. You could hear shots firing out. Those were shots for tear gas. The wind blowing towards us made you cough. No doubt about that. We cannot tell you the name of the suspect, but we can tell you that the negotiators were saying, Mr. Singleton, drop the weapon, come outside, hands in air. Again, Mr. Singleton, drop the weapon, come outside, hands in air. We heard that repeatedly. And then finally, after tear gas shot into the apartment, there was a long procession of law enforcement that entered into where that officer was standing, went inside, went upstairs, and then the next thing we knew, they were coming out with the suspect. He had on a blue shirt, I believe, and had dreads, and he was on the gurney, and he was eventually put into the ambulance. But coming back here alive, you can see where the officer is. Right, and we were here right as it happened. We had some technical issues, unfortunately, but there was all this law enforcement. We had a fire truck over here, an ambulance. We had SWAT assets on scene, and then they all went into that apartment where the officer is now. We are told he was on the second floor. There was also like an asset that would raise to the second floor, and then you could see the law enforcement officers, the SWAT, on that. And at one time, they fired tear gas or some type of formula of tear gas. I don't know if it was officially tear gas, but fired it in, and then it was, back, and he still wouldn't come out. Eventually, he came out. But that's the latest. We will have much more coming up tonight on WAVY News 10 at 4, 5, and 6, but the situation resolved. Suspect in custody, taken away in ambulance. In Newport News, Andy Fox, 10 on your side.